Okay. Can anybody hear me? Hello? Actually, I should be opening my dashboard so I can be able to see if anybody's here. Give me just a moment. Because it's been eons. But it's been forever, guys. How's it been? Sorry it's been so long. It's been so much going on. Like, I can't believe that I talk all this good shit about, oh, I'm gonna stream in the winter because I got more free time and da 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 da. I'm gonna do so much art over the winter and da 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 da. Only to not fucking do it because, okay, I got sick over the winter and I don't even know what I got sick with. Like, they were just throwing antibiotics at me just to see if it was just a cold or whatever. Thank God I didn't get COVID. Luckily, I did not get COVID or the flu. So that's a good thing. And then what else? Let's see. I didn't get COVID or the flu, but I was dealing with like sinus pressure and all of this other kind of shit. So there was that. I want to cry. Hold on, give me just a minute because I need to see if anybody can actually hear me. Like, even though I've recently got a new mic, so that's one thing. Wait, give me just one moment. But let's see. I got sick, and then um, yeah, that was really it. What happened with Christmas break? Like, over Christmas break, I was with family, and my mom was pretty much what was it? My mom was pretty much nursing me to help, and I was helping to cook around the house and stuff. We had like a simple dinner over Christmas, and then we watched movies and da 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 da. So that was something. And then what else? I'm trying to think. Earlier this month was mainly spent like getting ready for work and stuff because okay, so I've talked about this in the past and I've been talking about it in passing on social media, but I've been working on a mural as a part of an MLK project because pretty much my museum is a Black History Museum, the museum that I work at. And we do this thing called the MLK Challenge to encourage people to get active in community action and to well that's really it to get active in community action because people are like, well, Martin Luther King, he would just keep working if he knew that he had a holiday after him and da 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 da. And it's just like, just say that you don't want black people to have a break. Because that's the one thing that I don't like about my job. Like, I think that it's fun to work at, and I get to meet all kinds of interesting people because there are people who are related to some of the folks that we talk about at the museum, or some people who have a relative that was tied to some of the events that happened, and all this other kind of stuff. But I don't like that because we're the Black History Museum. We gotta be open during the Black holidays because no, because literally all of the other museums in the same city get to be closed that day. I think that's bullshit. If you want it to be open and if you want it to be an outlet, you should just have the white people. We got like 3 white people that work at this museum. They could run it. I don't know, but that's how I feel. So today is going to be an art day. Today we're mainly going to be working on sketches. Honestly, I should try to change the size. Change canvas size. Like this is supposed to be, I'll try to sketch out maybe 4 to 5 different things tonight. I'm not going to be up for too long because I've also just started school. And school is beating my ass, guys. I want to live. So I'm trying to see if I could save this as a template so I can like, because there should be something that says register as a material or something. And I don't know where the hell to find it. We love it when you're starting to stream again and then you don't know how to register material. Okay. Register. Wait, no. Preset template, actually. Oh, hey Artemis, how's it going? Can you hear me, by the way? Yay! And then I'm actually going to work on your emote right now. So yay! Let's see. I'm making a preset in the future because I realize that I keep forgetting that in Clip Studio Paint you can save presets for like resolutions and whatnot. Hold on. Clip Studio really is so powerful. Like, it's awesome. But pretty much, I was giving a recap of like what's been going on with personal stuff because remember how earlier at the beginning of the year I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say what I plan to do for I'm not gonna say what I plan to do for the new year because every time I say what I plan to do, I end up not following through and I don't want to disappoint anybody. So it's like you'll find out when we get there. Cause like, okay, I talked all this good shit about I'm gonna stream more. What the hell is that reference? That's another thing. I need to get more organized. I like how I said I'm gonna get more organized. And I semi have. I'm not gonna be too mean to myself. Feel like that a lot. But also I love the dopamine hits of talking about my plants. Yeah. Plus I need to get used to talking about myself. Because like I can't get upset if people don't show up if I don't like promote myself. Okay. It's this one. Also, I realized that I probably need to make like some bases or something because that'll probably make life easier for me. I'm just thinking of things to do in the future. Also, let me remember to save that reference that you sent in VGen. Because I did not put that in a folder. No, yes, I need to remind myself to. Wait, did you send a reference in VGen or did you send it in DMs? I just remembered. This is what happens when you start stuff wrong. I remember following a streamer eons ago. Okay. Now I see it. Okay, now we start. Now we start. Um, I remember following a artist that I used to be cool with back in the eons, and they used to say that they never do sketches on stream because sketches be like the most boring part, and who would watch that? Because like seeing you fumble it, and I get that, but also like I get that, but like I feel like I don't get that because like this is an art stream, and when people watch art streams, they do it to like see your process and stuff. Like they're interested in knowing how you do things. So it's like literally. Plus, if you're an artist that only does sketches, then it's like, well, tough titties. But seriously, what's the point of showing up to an art stream if you're not here to learn, or at least to look into how people do things? Like, why are you here? Give me a minute. I'm also looking through things. Imagine you join a stream and it looks like abstract nonsense and come back and it's as sick as fuck. And literally, like, that's literally the best part. Like, looking at how stuff evolves. Me last night because I started a calm on stream with absolutely no plan of posing. Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm looking at like other people's emotes because I have not made any bases, and I also did not download that one free base pack from so and so. I say, because there's like 5 different people who have made like ultimate base packs. Actually, let me show the reference that I'm using right now, because this is like, I think these are Iron Mouse. These are Iron Mouse. Give me a minute. Where is that? I thought I had it on. There it is. These are like Iron Mouse ones. And then I also need to add your picture to the reference thing. I love the sub view tool because it's constantly saving my ass. But no, I'm using this. Nobody knows that I referred to the Tenjo Tenge opening for that Mocha piece. Huh. I don't know what that is. So I wouldn't know either. Let's see. I'm gonna make the head a lot bigger because this is an emote. The head is the focus. This is better. But now, what is the Tenjo Tenge opening? Like, what is Tenjo Tenge actually? 2000s anime. I don't know what air gear is either. Like, sometimes I realize more and more that my experience when it comes to media, like, it's weird because oftentimes I make media references that people, no, it's fine. Oftentimes I make media references that other people don't get, and then I make media references that other people don't get, and then there's plenty of stuff that people, even if I knew of it, I wasn't a participant. I was like across the street. Like, I know of Sonic, and I vaguely know of Sonic lore, but I was barely a Sonic kid. Like, I watched Sonic X on 4Kids, but I really wasn't into it all that much. I played Unleash, but that's like a lot of people's dislike game, and it's understandable, right? Because even though it has a really good story, like the ice levels were frustrating because I was playing it on the Wii, and I could not get past the ice levels. And about a high school martial artist and their endless Berlin drama. Gotcha. That's cool though. Actually, the only Sonic game I played was Sonic Rush for the DS Lite. It was so hard. Yeah, and no, it's okay to have different experiences and stuff, but it's like I have pattern recognition, like extreme pattern recognition sometimes, and it's kind of hard not to notice when I'm always the odd one out. And like I get told that it's okay, I'm exposing people to new stuff, and I get exposed to new stuff, but at the same time, it's just like I would like to not have to explain myself sometimes. And this is coming from somebody who likes to yap and who likes to explain things, but like it's not a problem for me to explain things, right? It's a problem when I have to explain myself because I feel like I'm not being understood or I feel alien. Like honestly, there were a couple of times where I considered not being a jellyfish and actually being an alien because sometimes that feels more apt of an experience. But then that kind of sounds depressing when I put it that way. So it's just like, nah, let's just let's not do that. Let's just get through today. I could have just put the face on one layer. I'm used to putting the face in like a folder and separating the parts, but I don't got to do that right now. Also, do you want the ghost to have a fro as well? And you're actually so real, actually, because why are people so like different from me? It was hard growing up. Me, it was like a coin flip. Like I definitely, how do I describe it? Um, I definitely grew up from other kids. Also had curly hair. Gotcha. Let me look at the. Does the ghost have a facial expression? No. Oh, sort of. Also, is there a particular facial expression that you want the ghost to have? Main. What's that? Maybe. Okay. My stupid ass. I was like Maina. Cause like, how do I describe my school experience? When I was in kindergarten and first grade, for the most part, I was fine. I found folks who was into the same stuff as me, like Lazy Town and my friends Tigger and Pooh, and Billy and Mandy and stuff. I was chilling. I still got bullied though, but it was by like fourth graders who were mad that my mom combed my hair and their moms didn't. And that was like something consistent through my elementary life. Like it would always be some bitch with somebody whose mom would like always have their hair and nails did, but then they would be walking into the school looking like, you know how some anime characters be looking when there's an explosion. I want to see something. Okay, so that's the silhouette, but I'm gonna add like to at least show breakup of the bang. So it was like a jealousy thing, and often usually that was usually the kind of bullying that I had to deal with until about fifth grade. Then sixth grade, it was because I showed open enthusiasm for the things that I liked. Like I would get questions from random people sometimes whenever I would just talk excitedly about things like, "Are you autistic?" And I also hated about talking about those experiences online because somebody's just like, "What? You think that being autistic is a bad thing?" And it's just like, if somebody asked if you were autistic in that tone of voice, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm not autistic because I understand tone of voice. Not everybody can, because you know that's like a common autistic experience, not understanding tone of voice or certain facial expressions and shit. But I understood what the fuck sarcasm was. Yeah, it's ableist to label somebody. And they weren't saying it to be helpful or anything. They were saying it as another means to call me annoying. Hey, Damien. We're talking about neurodivergency struggles, because I do think that I'm autistic. But sometimes when it comes to like venting about certain experiences, it was a bit frustrating because you could talk about how somebody asks you if you're autistic and they said it in a certain tone of voice, and then somebody will respond with some shit like, "Oh, so you think that being autistic is a bad thing?" And I said, if you heard somebody ask you that question in that tone of voice, you would be offended. And then I forgot they were the kind of autistic person that couldn't understand tone of voice, so I couldn't even assume that it was a difficult conversation, so I just dipped. But it's just like, damn. Like, let me vent about my experiences. And honestly, sometimes it's hard. Actually, let me put hair in a folder. But how's it been, Damien? Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, I was talking about current events, and by current events it's like, also there's an ad that's gonna start in about a minute. I'm letting y'all know. Actually no, let me snooze it for a bit. Okay, snooze for 5 minutes because I was still yapping. There's too many events actually. Yeah, there's too many. I'm tired of living in current events. Actually, at least the ones that I don't want to. Like I hate the shit that's going on over here right now. TikTok isn't even the fucking same. Like everybody's just like, we got TikTok back, guys, and I'm like, yeah, but at what cost? At what fucking cost, guys? Because now you can't even say certain things without like being blocked or without it like being taken down or something. And to be honest, there was already censorship because like people forget that if you're black, TikTok is kind of a hard time because somebody could like be straight up calling you vintage slurs that haven't been used since like the 1800s. But if you tell that person to kill themselves, then it's a fucking problem. Yeah, but also like I understand the thing about deleting it. I understand the thing about deleting it, but if that is somebody's source of income, it is really hard to rebuild an audience from scratch. It's really hard to rebuild an audience from scratch. And also, if there aren't any sustainable alternatives, because yeah, everybody and their mom is going to Red Note, but like, who in China is gonna buy somebody's goods over here? It's both an issue of alternatives and also of rebuilding. You know, if I just keep the hair the way that it is right now, it'll look like a Jerry coral. It's not fair that black people have to keep doing the most extreme things to protect ourselves. Others don't have to do that. Yep. Now, personally, I'm not leaving TikTok, but I barely use it to begin with. I barely use it to begin with. Because, like, okay, here's the thing. I go to college, right? My fucking college blocked it. Like, the Wi Fi, and I know that they blocked it. I don't know if there's like an announcement or anything, but I know that they blocked it because whenever I use it, it's really slow compared to other websites. I should make this wider. So like I barely use it to begin with. I post a speed paint and then I dip and then I come back like once a month and then I see that the speed paint has like 100 and something. Like honestly, my art does so much better on TikTok than it does on any of the other platforms. Like Blue Sky is really good. I get a lot more engagement for the amount of followers that I have, even though I feel like some of them, I have a complicated relationship with Blue Sky. Well, it's not complicated. It's more like there are several pages that are following me, and a lot of them are mutual aid pages, and I feel like they're just following me because they want me to boost it. But it's just like, you don't have to follow me to boost it. Just let me know. You don't have to pretend that you care. But with Blue Sky, I get a lot more engagement for the amount of followers that I have. That's fair. No, that's so fair because I didn't know how to use it for a while. Ask Blaze. Ask Blaze that. They know. I gotta stop volunteering Blaze as like the tech go to. But at the same time, that nigga advertised themselves as the tech VTuber. Like I know that's not all they are. They love Raihan and that redheaded nigga from Genshin, and they're very cheeky and stuff. But also, you are the tech nigga in the Black VTuber community. You're part of Brown Girl Gamer Code, and you're literally having a fundraiser to do like tech tutorials and stuff. You are the tech nigga, Blazette. Also, the ad starts in a minute, so let me know when y'all get out of ad hell, and I'll keep yapping because I want y'all to hear the whole thing. Because I'm not balling like that in like subscribers to keep talking through the ads anyways, so I don't want y'all to miss out. You have Turbo, yay! Ooh, you have thoughts on this? Yeah, I think that the reason why Blue Sky is like different when it comes to interactions is that I feel like it's Twitter with Tumblr mechanics. I feel like streamers are kind of unapproachable. Yeah, I could get that. That was not this. Especially when it comes to like the amount of BS that be going on sometimes. Unapproachable towards other streamers. Yeah. You put clothes. It's just a little bit of starlight. Bit of starlight. Unapproachable to other streamers. I get that. I'm gonna put the clothes on top of the hair for now. Like for example, if I see that someone has a cool setup and I have questions, there's no socially acceptable way to reach out to them for tips if they're a certain size. Yeah, because some people are like, I'm tired of people coming to me just to use me and all this other kind of stuff. And it's just like, I'm asking you a question. Like, I don't think that's strictly using somebody. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the kind of person that I am and the kind of person that I grew up as. Because you know how I'm always reposting tips and stuff on my socials, Artemis, because they get all you got to go through my vetting system. And it's just like, me, I don't have a problem with sharing information with people. Like for me, I feel like some people wouldn't keep feeling used or keep feeling that people are pretending to be their friends to get to them if they didn't keep requiring friendship as a prerequisite to get certain resources. Like I don't know. Oh, move my phone from my mic. Oh, hey Sylvia. Yeah, it's better than being bored. We're talking all kinds of shit. Pretty much, we're talking about how there are some VTubers who are a bit unapproachable, and I think that part of the reason is that some people advertise themselves. Like, I don't like how you're kind of required to be somebody's friend in order to get certain information on basic stuff. Because if I know about something, I'm just going to share it because I think that it's something that everybody should know and have access to. It's got to be the proximity to idol culture. Yeah, but even with idol culture, isn't that more like that company secrets type thing, like a trade secret thing, than rather than being necessarily a friendship stuff? Haven't ran into that, so no dog in the fight for that. But then again, most don't know who the hell I am, so that's another facet of it. So you need a jacket. So hard to find OBS and streaming tutorials for cool shit. Yeah. Sometimes I kind of blame like OBS. Like, I know that it's supposed to be customizable and stuff, but like sometimes it doesn't feel user intuitive compared to what is it, Streamlabs? Like Streamlabs, the problem is that they made something that's easier to understand, but then they had the nerve to put shit behind a paywall, even though they're literally taking from free coding. I just went to YouTube or have them fall into my lap sometimes. Yeah, because I know there were some people who have tried OBS. Let's see, I can't put your feather in because it's on the right side, and the ghost is covering that up. Let me make the hoodie a little bit closer to the neck because I just realized it's a bit too far off. Shit. But yeah, I be giving out information for free because I just like it whenever I like people to know things. Like, to me, it's more frustrating when people don't know stuff, especially if they're not willing to look it up. Like, I hate the anti-intellectualism going on, or how like people be asking Twitter instead of looking up shit on Google. And I get it, Google is now shit, but even before Google became shit with all of the AI and stuff, it's just like, damn. And then I realized that a lot of schools are like defunding stuff like computer classes and stuff, and that's probably why people are being so damn ignorant about stuff. Because I have to constantly remind myself that research is a skill that has to be taught, and a lot of people aren't being taught. I can flip the email and have half the clip showing. Okay. Oh yeah, and it should probably be turned this way, like towards the screen. Ooh, I am an explainer for real. I love telling people how to do things, and if I see them struggling, yeah. And then other things about like social stuff with VTubers. Like aside from requiring friendship in order to get like basic information and then getting mad that people become your friend only to get that info, right? Oh, there are little braids and stuff. Let me let me add hoodie detail. This is a chibi. I'm not gonna add the text. I'm just gonna make the button really big. It gets annoying for people on my end because I do it on instinct when they haven't asked. I do a soft backseating on accident with certain games when we're both confused. I try not to when it's one we both play, but a small indirect hint slips. Yeah. With me, when it comes to like getting tips for games, I prefer it like after or during a resting time because sometimes I get overwhelmed, especially if I am confused. Personally, on the topic of prerequisite friendship, I wish it were easier to befriend people outside of gaming. Me, it depends on the activity. Um, Me, it depends, cause like, okay, it's harder for me to socialize at the new college that I'm going to compared to the old one, and that genuinely pissed me off. Cause like, for context, at the old college that I was going to, they had like a upward bound program, like a trio program for like non-traditional students. So if you were like first generation college, out of state, a parent, da 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 da, they had like a social group for you. And one of the mentors that was there, she's still my bestie to this day, right? And then the other friends that I made at that college were folks that I was in the learning community with, right? Yeah, that's hard. And then at the wait, y'all socialize? Yeah. And like I've tried talking to people on campus over here, and then one person I forgot to contact because I just got really busy, and sometimes I do suck at a communication because it's just like I'm a proximity person. I have to see you on a regular basis to remember sometimes. And I don't know if this is like I never even got in COVID, but I feel like there's like a collective forgetfulness. Okay. So this is sketch one of the night. I'll continue it this weekend. No, sometimes I feel like I forget things. Like I need to talk to that one guy I met named Adrian because we were into industrial music together. What was the second sketch I was gonna do? Oh yeah, I'm also working on decks. Shit, I should make a VGen command. I gotta reset my commands. Like this is what I mean by I was talking all this good shit about big things coming only to not do it because I got sick and all this other kind of junk. Like we hate it here. Mm-hmm. Cause I made commands. It's just I made commands. It's just I need to redo the commands. I need to redo the command. Did I even put the command list in my about? Hey Hattie, how's it going? Okay, so it works, but the prices are wrong because I forgot to update my website. Do not look at the prices. Just go to VGen. Just go to VGen. That's where all the correct information is. I love this song so much. Who's excited for the new panty and stocking? I wonder if they're doing a remaster of the original one. Hopefully they get rid of Gertie Belt's donut lips, or if they're continuing from where they left off. Cause what happened? Stocking is supposed to be a demon. Stocking is supposed to be a demon. Okay, give me a minute. I thought that I had Dex's. Um, I had. I thought I had Dex's references open. I did not. Ready to simp for stocking again. Oh my god. Shit, did I even save Dex's references? No, I did not. See, this is the problem. But no, for context with this next com that I'm working on, one of the things about being my friend is that I will occasionally. Now, remember how last time, by last time, I think it was leading up to my debut, I was like drawing myself as different VTubers that I looked up to and stuff, and that helped me gain a lot of attention. But I am going to actually like make free fan art for my besties and stuff, so look out for that. Like I might draw a Hattie if he wasn't looking like Pull Taffy, or Artemis sitting on the moon, or Zivia sitting on the moon. I know a lot of moon niggas now that I think about it. There's too many of y'all. There's too many moons. There's too many J's. There's like 8 different VTubers with a J name. We need to have a battle royale. What the crap is Dex? Is Paige? The moon haunts me. Yes, the moon haunts me. I'll have you know I have legs now. That's true. Now I gotta make a folder for Dex to be responsible. Cause like I have a bad habit of downloading pictures and not like I would semi organize them. I would semi organize them. You are unique enough. Of course you're unique enough. You're wonderful on your own and I helped made you. So even if you weren't already unique, nigga, I helped. And you know that I am him. You know how when some people have those like things about how to make interesting character or da 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 da, and it's like give this character this list of features, and it's just like this character is interesting because I drew them. You don't keep everything in your download. No, I keep everything in my download folder. I just also like to organize within the download folder. Just said there's other moon people in this space. Well, technically, Artemis isn't. Artemis, aren't you more of a star person? Fun fact, my name isn't even based off the Greek goddess. It's a portmanteau of artist and alchemist. Ah, it kind of doesn't help that you got a celestial themed. Although, think about it. A pen can look like. I gotta do the screenshot thing. I just realized that Dex sent me a damn PowerPoint slideshow. So now I gotta screenshot his references. I'm gonna kill him. I love him, but I will have him slaughtered sometimes. Because it's just like, sir, I want to live. Have fun, Metal. But yeah, Metal, he got a full body now. He's now a standing thing instead of the thing that just slides through the walls. I'm scared. But yeah, I'm gonna fix my commands at some point. No, Zivia is definitely One of a kind. It's like that song by the Grinch. Thought I was good on being a werewolf on top of being a moon divinity. Then suddenly I find others that's one or the other. You know? I thought that I was original being a black femme jellyfish. Because I'm like, I see no black jellyfish VTubers. And then I joined the black VTubing space, and then I see Mars, and I see Luna, and I see Coral Venus. And there's like a Gato one as well. And I'm like, damn. I really thought I was all that in a bag of chips. Okay, but Zivia, you're ahead of the curve. Yeah, a lot of black Yadoos, tigers, and like how many? Because I only know Mocha and Tommy. Mm. It's the fact that I made these bases for when I tried to sell document curls another time, only for me to still use a 3D model anyways. Love it when your plans get changed. Maybe I should have stuck to my original cons. Those vampires. It's okay, Xavier. The call of the wild was in your ear, and you had no choice but to answer. God, please. I just want to draw him yawning. Please. This is going to have to work. Like, this looks wonky as shit, but it'll work. Yeah. What's that saying? There's a saying, right, that the best lies are those sprinkled with the truth. And the thing is, if you're not comfortable with the concept, it's gonna be hard to like play that persona. See, I didn't even give Stream Elements the full perms to post links. This is this is what I mean by I'm not as ahead of the curve as I thought. It's okay, Xavier. Your concept is great. You're one of the few kimono minis who actually have your ears reach all the way down. You're black, so you're already ahead of the curve because most of these VTubers, no shade, no tea, no shade, but they lack melanin. And it'd be hard for to tell them apart sometimes. Unless they're like Hattie, who is literally a walking abomination. Did you mod stream elements? Just type mod stream elements. Yeah, but I feel like if I try to configure that during stream. Oh, I thought I did. Okay. You know, I thought that I gave it that. Thanks, Sylvia. I know. See, this is a Gaussian blur. Hey, Atlas. How's it going? I just keep forgetting. I said that I was going to talk about current events as it was been going on in life, and then I fucking lie. So, recap, I got sick over the winter, and that's why I did not deliver on what I said I was going to deliver on. because I was talking all this good shit. You want to know what I was gonna do? What I was going to do, right, was finish the Ruby redesign series before the end of the year. Nope. And Lunar New Year has already happened. I'm just gonna be suffering from African lateness. I was gonna design new outfits and have new emotes and new panels and all this other kind of shit because it was Christmas break. That's one of the few times that I have like a consistent break. But no, I had to get sick. We love existence. So we're gonna do what we can. Now I will say that I am actually actively working on the finale of the Ruby redesign series because I actually want to finish it. I want to finish a project that isn't school or work related for once. Which picture was this? There's an irony in being a werewolf concept and can't stand the winter to save my life. To be honest, wolves semi don't like winter though. Like remember when I told you about the agricultural moons and stuff for context for those who don't know about celestial happenings, um, or about the farmer's almanac. Cause like I come from a country ass family. I come from a country family, right? And my great grandmother, she used to keep a farmer's almanac on her, so they could keep track on like certain like agricultural happenings, right? So like whenever there's a full moon, it would be called a moon based off of major events that are supposed to happen in nature that farmers have to look out for. And January is usually called the wolf moon because January is the dead of winter. January is the dead of winter, and if an animal isn't properly prepared during the winter, then they might come out and scavenge and stuff. So sometimes you see wolves be more active during that time. And that's why the full moon is called a wolf moon in January. Another example of this is April, which is called the worm moon because April showers bring May flowers. So because it's raining so much, you tend to see worms out and about more often because the ground is more wet. This has been Agriculture Facts with Jayla Cephidae. Let's see. I'm gonna blur this more because I do not want to quite follow the model. January Wolf Moon shit post when you expect me to howl at the moon only for me to scream. Honestly, we gotta make sure that we watch the Wolfman movie. Although I will warn, apparently it's getting bad reviews. I don't know what the bad reviews are exactly, like what's being complained about. Apparently, some people are complaining about what the monster looks like. I feel like a lot of people were expecting, say, Van Helsing type wolf design. And I did hear from the director that he wanted to go in a more like disease kind of route. So it's definitely going to look monstrous, but it's not going to be like, I can't even say traditional werewolf. Because what the fuck even is that? It varies depending on the practice, right? Because what was that other transformation that we saw? American Werewolf in London or something. What was that one with the really long ass painful transformation? It might look something more like that. Yeah. Also, it kind of bothers me whenever some people talk about Twilight. Because like there are valid reasons to hate on Twilight, but sometimes I feel like people be pulling shit out the ass. Like Robert Eggers was talking about how when he was designing the Nosferatu, um, he was talking about how, oh, I wanted to make vampires terrifying again before Twilight, where everybody thought they were attractive. And I'm like, nigga, people thought that vampires were attractive way before Twilight. This is why I shouldn't have watched Nosferatu, because I've been pissed off ever since. So something else that happened during the winter, right? When I wasn't sick, I saw Nosferatu. For those who have seen me yap about it on Twitter, I'm sorry. It's just that I got Draculatism. Starting with the 60s Wolfman movie, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But like, oh my god. Like, I saw Nosferatu. Because I got Draculatism, right? To explain, everybody in my family likes horror movies. And the commonality between all of us with watching horror movies is watching vampire stuff. Wanted to watch it because I like vampires too, but I've heard weird things. Don't watch it. It's a waste of time. You want to know what's a better Dracula adaptation? Watch Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Coppola, starring Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves, Gary Oldman, and Winona Ryder. That is the good one. Number one reason why it is the good one, because it got the cowboy in it. That's literally the best part of Dracula. And if you don't include him, you are a bitch. Period. Like I'm so serious. Anybody who excludes the cowboy from it is a fucking coward. Because like, okay, I'm gonna explain my Draculatism, and I'm gonna explain what Dracula is, right? Because tism, right? So everybody in my house likes horror movies. But the thing that we tend to like gravitate towards as a family is usually vampire stuff. That's like the happy medium, because my mom is into like mysteries and witches and supernatural stuff. My sister is into like psychological horror and dramas and stuff, and I'm mostly into action. Like I like Resident Evil and Predator and stuff, right? So that's like the happy medium between all of our horror interests. And like Dracula has influenced some of my favorite ugh, some of my favorite series of all times, particularly Helsing and what else? Like I love Vampire in Brooklyn because that was funny and cool. I love Blade, even though it wasn't all that influenced by Dracula. What else? Yeah, I kind of dislike how some people hate on the canny werewolf things, because usually whenever the uncanny werewolf designs, because sometimes the point, like you said, that is often the point, but like specifically that interpretation, what I notice in like werewolf horror instead of werewolf action, right? In werewolf action, they look cool and put together. But when it's usually horror, it's literally the horror of having your body being taken over by something foreign. It's literally werewolf as a disease. And there's actually some historical precedent for that, right? I can't remember what town was going through it. I can't remember what town was going through it, but there was like this one time where the rye grain got like some kind of fungus, and it ended up causing like dehydration and delirium between the residents and shit. So folks were hallucinating, thinking that they were werewolves and like tearing themselves and each other apart. Like it's pretty much just body horror. He was just like, oh, but it doesn't look cool, and I'm like, body horror isn't supposed to look cool. It's supposed to be gross, nigga. Get out. Like that kind of werewolf horror is for people who like The Fly and The Thing. Right. If you don't like The Fly and The Thing, Then get out. I've never seen that. I wouldn't know. And see, I'm strange. Zivia knows a lot about werewolves because they are pretty much a bit of a furry. I know a lot about vampires because I grew up around vampires. I don't even like vampires like that. Like, how do I describe my relationship with vampires? They're like that next door neighbor that you just knew. Yeah, but that wouldn't make me a furry. I forgot the name that you gave me. I was excited only to forget this shit. Cindarians. See, that don't even sound like a furry type thing. That sounds like a fictional species in a high fantasy. That's how you know that I'm superior because I sound legit. Nindarians? I don't know why. That sounds like Nindarians. That sounds like a dog whistle. Like that sounds like a sci-fi way of saying nigga. I'm sorry. Dog Nindarians. Dog Nindarian. I know he got claws on his toes. I need to open that PowerPoint again. I don't know why he like it's convenient, but it's not because I can't save the pictures in it. I'm like Dex, why would you do that to me? I know he got toe claws though. I'll remember. Like I'll go back and add him in a moment. But what was I thinking about again? That's great if a werewolf design manages to capture both though. Like I feel like the best way to do both is when you make the transformation very gross and then the final form looks cool. One, two, three. Yeah, but I never heard that word out. Xavier, remember the person that you were dating, right? If I don't hear the word out loud, I was taught to sound things out. Sometimes I be sounding country as hell though, because like my mom is just like, it's not Seagrams, it's Seagrams. Whenever I would talk about the Wyatt coolers that I would drink sometimes. But what was I thinking about again? English is just dumb because it's five different languages in a trench coat. Yeah, it's Germanic and then it's romantic. It's Germanic with romantic elements. And then what kind of romantic it is, it depends on what day of the week it is. I should try learning German, especially considering our country's circumstances. I might have to. Mm, let me stop. Let me stop. Also, it'll feel odd to have a werewolf concept but don't know jack shit about them. You know, well, not necessarily. Because if you're making your own and you don't care, you could probably bullshit it. I only know bits and pieces about. Even though jellyfish are my favorite animal, I don't. It's not like I know. I know bits and pieces. Like I know about the life cycle and stuff. Yeah, guys, I'm a fraud. Because I remember when Zivia asked me what kind of jellyfish was I, and I'm like, I was supposed to pick a type. Base myself off of Ernie and Bernie from Shark Tales, and did not look back. I will tell you ahead of time though. I do not look like there's only one type of jellyfish that is immortal, but I do not look anything like the immortal jellyfish. It's a different color scheme. If you want somebody who's an immortal jellyfish, look up Nyx. I can't remember her last name. I semi have the fish special interest. Like, okay, there was a time where I wanted to be a marine biologist like Jotaro Kujo before I even knew who Mr. Kujo was. Literally. Literally, because when I made my Halloween outfit, I based that off of the Mediterranean jellyfish, because you know the fried egg jellyfish, right? There's a variation of it that looks green and purple, so I picked that for my Halloween outfit. I don't know what I'm gonna be though this year. I did kind of yoink a bit of concept based off of Basil via Boo's lore video. Yeah, I know of Basil. I need to watch more. Yeah, because I got magpie brain. Like, I say that I'm going to talk about something and then I forget. Like, for example, we were talking about Dracula a minute ago and I didn't even finish my statement. Like, I love interacting with chat, but also I hate y'all niggas because y'all be forgetting stuff with me. What's the point of y'all being here if you're not going to be my captain's log? Oh my god. I love y'all. But y'all are terrible. You know that one scene in in Bob's Burgers where Gene was like pretending to be Bob, and he was just like, "I love you guys, but you're terrible, all terrible." That's how I feel towards y'all. I want y'all to know that. I'm forgetting. Just have ADHD. We have multiple conversations. Yeah, and that's like I don't think I have ADHD, but I do think that I make it hard for people with ADHD because I do switch subject. Like, remember when I talked about the pattern recognition? If there's something that reminds me of another subject, to me that's enough of a segue into another topic of conversation. I am so sorry. I too love Bob's Burgers. Oh, we restarted this playlist. I was just playing random playlists. Ooh, actually, I could just share some playlists and stuff, but we're gonna go back to Dracula, right? I don't even have an interest in vampires like that. I just know a lot about them because they've been a huge part of my life. They're the neighbor that's always been there, and that's pretty much it. And this isn't to say that I don't like vampires because I like some vampire media. I used to be really into Vampire Diaries. I love Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and The Last American Vampire, which is the sequel. Henry Sturgis is one of my favorite characters of all time. I literally made a Black Butler OC based off of him. Da 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 da. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I like vampires of themselves, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't find vampires hot. I find specific actors who plays as vampires hot. Like, if I like the vampire character, it's because I like the character, not because they were a vampire. I'm weird like that. You know, I'm actually about that life because I'm literally writing a vampire novel right now. Oh, cool. Whereas in Werewolf Enjoyer, because no one likes to make more media on them. I feel like Twilight has done a negative number on vampires and werewolves. And also, I do think that werewolves are a little bit more high maintenance because with a vampire, all you got to do is add some fangs at minimum, right? Where a werewolf, that requires either heavy CGI or heavy fabrication. And you know how people don't want to spend money on movies anymore unless it's like the MCU. It's sad. We need cinema. But what was I talking about before? I was shitting on Nosferatu and talking about my relationship with vampires. Please let me finish, or else we'll never get there. I swear to God. Because I need to shit on it. I'll shit on it every chance that I get. But how do I describe Dracula? So Dracula, what a lot of people don't know, but more people need to fucking know, because this is an iconic piece of media that has shaped, that has heavily, like, a lot of people say that honor should go to Carmilla, but like, Carmilla is overrated. Like, I feel like a lot of people give it accolades because it's just like, oh, it features lesbians, but it's just like, it was written by a man and he literally depicts the lesbian as the predator. Are we seriously going to dick write this, guys? Are you that desperate for representation that you'll just praise anything just because you happen to be there instead of worrying about how you're depicted in there? Like, be serious. Like, I had a conversation. Well, it wasn't necessarily a conversation. I roasted somebody, I think yesterday. Also, apparently, Robert Eggers is also going to make a Wolfman movie, but I don't trust him because of what happened with Nosferatu. Like, fuck that guy, seriously. Probably the only film that I would watch from him and respect is The Lighthouse. But I don't respect The Witch, and I don't respect Nosferatu. And I'm going to get into why. So, the thing about Dracula, what a lot of people don't know, is that Dracula is actually hella racist. Um, it was written during the Edwardian period, and it was commentary on the immigration that was happening during the Victorian era. Because, like, in the late 1800s, um, due to some of the stuff that was going on with the royal family being shitty and all this other kind of stuff, there were a lot of Jewish and Romani people who were fleeing from Russia and other parts of Eastern Europe. They were fleeing persecution towards parts of Western Europe. And, because Europe is anti Semitic as hell, and no matter how much they try to make up, quote unquote, make up for what happened in World War II, they're still hella anti Semitic as hell. Like, some of the shit that I don't think that people realize that these were the OGs of racism. The racism that you will experience in Europe is not anything that you will experience in the Americas and stuff, because, like, if a black person and a Romani person, especially when it comes to the hatred of Romani and Jewish people, like, if a black person and a Romani person were to pull up in a convenience store, those things about folks like spying on black people to see if they'll steal something, the Romani person, even if that Romani person looks white as hell, will be the one who's getting spied on. And this isn't even an exaggeration. Like, there are some Europeans that'll know specifically what kind of European you are just by looking at them, because they were the niggas who invented phrenology in the first fucking place. Like, it's absurd and stuff. It's like walking into a 4chan server, but with walkable cities and good public transportation. I cry, but okay, I'll sit up straight and drink some water. Thanks for telling me to stop. Oh my god. Yeah, my baby Punko. I need to draw more art of him. I need to draw more things. Let us pray. Let me look up a picture of a yawning hand. But what was I talking about? But yeah, Dracula is actually an anti-immigration hate piece that depicts um that um that depicts, you know, the folks who are immigrating to Great Britain as like a threat to the culture. Thank you for the head pat. As a threat to the culture and stuff. He's like, these people are coming over and are gonna destroy our way of life, and only through Western advancements can we save ourselves. And that's why you have characters like Dr. Van Helsing, who's a mentor to Jack. I can't remember his last name, but like, they're both nerds, right? And they're using modern day technology to like try to track the disease that is vampirism and all this other kind of shit, right? And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and the thing about Dracula and Mina Harker, who's the female lead in there. For those who don't know, the story of Dracula, because some adaptations cut out important stuff. Like, when's the last time you've seen, besides the recent Nosferatu movie, for example, when's the last time you see Jonathan Harker be depicted as a fucking real estate agent? Exactly, guys. I have no shame with with like, I love y'all, but I have no shame with tracing hands. Hold on. What the fuck? Oh, that's a neck. Okay, I was so confused of where the hell that thing was. I'm like, what? But what was I thinking? Mina Harker, who is married to Jonathan Harker, who is a real estate agent. What happened was Dracula is buying up real estate in London because the people who live in Romania, like near his castle, they already know what he is and they know how to avoid him because he's been eating people for so long. So, and he's been there for so long, so they're already going to connect the dots and be like, "Huh, it's strange that John went missing." And it's strange how somebody always goes missing whenever they deliver groceries to Lord So and So's house. So maybe we should stop going there, right? So he starts buying up real estate in London because his people don't trust him anymore and he still needs to eat. But unfortunately, he can't help himself. He can't even bother to like not feed for a little bit until after he gets to London because whenever he invites a British dude to the house, they also go missing. And the first person to go missing was Jonathan's coworker Renfield, who's like a senior at the real estate firm, right? And Jonathan ends up going as a replacement, even though he just got married. Like, he hasn't even been to the honeymoon yet, but he's eager to go because he's just like, I'm. He's not poor, but he's definitely working class, and he has insecurities about himself because his wife grew up. She's not. She's also working class, but she grew up around rich people because like her family worked for a rich family, and she's best friends with a rich girl. And he doesn't like want to embarrass his wife. And he was told that he was going to get a really good bonus if he like completes that that real estate deal. So he goes to Romania and he ends up getting kidnapped by Dracula and fed to the wives and shit. And then Dracula like goes to London and targets Mina and stuff. And the reason why, right? I told you that this is an anti-immigration hate piece, and you know that fear that racists have that they're gonna get cuckolded by the people that they see as beneath them. It's literally that. This hand sucks. This is Nosferatu. No, this is the original book of Dracula, right? Nosferatu is a little bit different. So instead of this is base Dracula, this is the book. Nosferatu. The thing about Nosferatu, context with that, right? It's a cult classic with a lot of controversy behind it because it is an unauthorized adaptation of the Dracula book, which is why the names are so different and stuff. Because originally they weren't supposed to be making the damn movie in the first place. Because Bram Stoker was dead, and his wife hadn't given authorization to make the movie, but it ended up becoming a cult classic because it was the first adaptation of the Dracula film, I think. I think. I don't know if Nosferatu came out before or after the first Dracula film, but I know that Bram Stoker's wife like spent a lot of time like trying to delete, like trying to destroy posters and film reels of it and stuff. So instead of Jonathan, it's Thomas. Instead of Mina, it's Ellen, and da 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 da. And instead of Dracula, it's Lord Orlok. And I don't think that Nosferatu is decent because, like I said, the original Dracula is racist as hell, and Nosferatu is also racist as hell because, like, the design of the character is heavily based off of Jewish, like anti-Semitic caricatures. Because, like, Dracula, like blood libel, this idea that like Jewish people are gonna sneak into the night and drink your blood and stuff. That has been like it's pretty much to call them parasites and stuff, and that has been a thing since a little bit before Dracula. But like Dracula amplified that rumor, and then to have Nosferatu be designed based off of those like political cartoons that depicted them as parasites, that was just for better lack of a term, it was the final nail in the coffin. On top of the fact that I don't like the ending because in and I'm talking about the original Nosferatu, right? In Dracula, Dracula attacks Mina because, like I said, he's supposed to represent that fear of being cuckolded by a foreigner and stuff. It's not about caring about women and the possible harm that powerful men could cause. It's literally, oh, they're gonna attack our women and we gotta protect our property and da 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 da. Because this is Victorian racism and sexism is like first cousins with that, right? And I'm trying to think. In Dracula, a dude attacks Nina and nearly turns her into a vampire, but then they defeat Dracula, and that lifts the curse off of Mina because get rid of the if you get rid of the head vampire or the one who turns that person, then that could turn them back to normal. So Mina is able to become a human again and be able to live a normal life. In Nosferatu, they don't do that. So there's like this legend that if you sacrifice a maiden to the monster, that could be a long enough distraction in order to bring him into the sunlight and kill him. So instead of Ellen defeating Lord Orlok and being able to live on her life, she's supposed to sacrifice herself in order to save everybody else, right? And I don't like that. I don't like that because even with the racism of Dracula, there have been, and some of the sexism of Dracula, there have been adaptations that have done like romantic interpretations of Dracula while still like pointing out how abusive the dynamic is because he's still targeting her and he does attack some of her loved ones and stuff. And with Mina defeating him, it's like a victim triumphing over her abuser and being able to like leave and live, right? And have a better life and da 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 da. But when you use that abuse context with Nosferatu and you maintain the original Nosferatu ending, it ends up being ass. Because then you have a victim who, in order to save everybody in the community, she has to give herself up just to make sure. Like, literally, the only way to get rid of the abuser is to appease him. And I don't like that kind of messaging, especially with what's been going on right now. And I especially hate it in Robert Eggers, which is the newest version of Nosferatu, right? I especially hate it in Robert Eggers' version of Nosferatu for two reasons. So, he decided to add the context of abuse as in, like, grooming, because, in Dracula, there really is no prerequisite for Dracula to know Mina. He just shows up. Like, he kind of shows up because he saw that Jonathan had like a locket or a picture with him, and he's just like, English woman, I'm gonna hunt her down. In Francis Coppola's version of Dracula, in order to give Dracula like motivation to hunt down Mina, aside from like typical racist cuckolding, they were writing it as a romance, and they were having it where like she's like, they base Dracula off of Vlad the Impaler, and Mina is supposed to be the reincarnated version of his wife. So he's like trying to reunite with her, but he can't accept that she has a new life and stuff. So he tries to like take over her life so he can have access to her again, because he can't let go of his grief and let go of his old wife, right? But in Robert Edgar, it was just like, no, this dude knew her when she was a kid and took a claim on her when she was a kid. And then he's reminded that she still exists. So he's going to show up in her adult life and be a problem. Also, an ad is about to start in about 1 minute. Who's rating? Dang, this screen is small. But no, welcome Raiders! Aspen Jerk. Wait, how to pronounce your name? I'm gonna call you Aspen, but oh my gosh! Thank you for the raid! Let me snooze this ad break real quick. I feel like it should automatically snooze it whenever there is a raid. But oh my gosh, welcome Raiders! My name's Jayla Cephidae, and I'm a mutant jellyfish who likes to do art and sometimes game and talk crap about media and current events. That's at the raid command room. Let's try this again. But no, thanks for coming. If you're tired or anything, don't feel like you're obligated to stay here. Get some rest. Because it's like 9 p.m. where I am. And it's still a school night. Be responsible. But right now we're talking about Nosferatu and how much I hate the Robert Edgar version. Because, yeah, I hate the Robert Edgar version. So y'all were doing a co-working session, and I thought bringing us over to your art would be nice, continuing of chill time. It is chill. But I am going to warn, when we're talking about horror movies, and we're specifically talking about Robert Edgar, and he is actually really good at making people uncomfortable. Because, like, holy shit, was I uncomfortable watching Nosferatu? Like it was gross. Which isn't bad, right? Because, like, horror is supposed to invoke fear or disgust. Because some people just focus on the fear part. Hi. Some people just focus on the fear part, but, like, no. I should have put the body in its own folder. But no. Horror can also be disgusting. I consider things like, what's an example? I consider Lolita, the book, to be a horror movie. I do not consider the movies to be horror movies. I think that the movies should not exist because they're disrespectful and they're garbage. But the book is definitely a horror movie. What's another horror movie? I would consider The Lovely Bones to be a horror movie. A lot of people say that The Color Purple is a horror movie because of some of the descriptions, and honestly, yeah. I haven't read The Color Purple, but I know what happens. And if they say that the descriptions are graphic, then I'm going to take their word for it. It's a horror movie. And specifically, the commonality between all three of those books is like it. What makes it horrifying is that, oh, this is shit that happens in IRL. Like, the real horror was the misogyny that we endured along the way. But speaking of horror and misogyny, Robert Eggers should not have made Nosferatu. I'm actually going to jump him. Like, I need him to get hit by a car, actually. Because what do you mean this movie was supposed to be a love triangle? What do you mean this is a dark romance? I hate the dark romance genre with my soul because there's nothing romantic about it. It's just romanticized abuse. Like I'm so bored actually. Like okay, when I heard of the concept of dark romance, I talked about this in another stream eons ago. I was so excited because I like romance actually. I like romance and sometimes I like dark content. So what I'm thinking when I hear the words dark romance, I expect romance with dark content in it. Like I don't know, like Rick and Michonne from The Walking Dead. It's a zombie apocalypse. Like think Warm Bodies, right? It's a zombie apocalypse, and it's somebody finding love in the apocalypse, right? Or something like Gomez and Morticia, where like they're very romantic, but there's a lot of macabre undertones. But of course, the macabreness is turned up because in a dark romance that's supposed to be for like adult audiences, and Adam's Family is for families. So like if Adam's Family was allowed to be like hella violent and shit, I would think of something like Gomez and Morticia. And then instead we get some bullshit like anything written by Colleen Hoover, and I get bored as hell. And since we were talking about Dracula earlier, like Francis Coppola's Dracula, I would consider a dark romance because even though there's like elements of, I will say that Dracula is an abusive person because it's just like I don't care that this is your reincarnated wife. She has a new life now, and you need to respect that. But it has romantic elements because he is like trying to court her again, and she does. Before she finds out what he's really doing, she does like him at first. But as soon as she finds out, she's just like, nah, man, I have to kill you. Yeah, the actress for Okoye is Michonne. It's so hard to recognize her without the locks. It's amazing what being bald can do. But shout out her actress. Okoye was my favorite. You watched the Colleen Hoover movie? Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, I love Nicholas Holt. Like, he's really cool. He's played a lot of interesting roles, and I'm happy for him. He did a really good job playing as Thomas in Nosferatu. It's sad because there are some good things about Nosferatu. I like the makeup. I think that the cinematography is great. I like that in all of the scenes that take place at night, you can actually see what the hell is going on because a lot of cinematographers suck ass at that. Like I think about Game of Thrones and it pisses me off, right? Cuz a lot of things be pissing me off. Oh, there's an ad break going on. Let me know when y'all get out of ad hell so I may continue. Let me know. You know, I love warm bodies. I get one to set a mood, but people have to actually be able to see what's going on when they're watching a show or a movie. Exactly. Hmm. Did the ad break in? Okay. But yeah, I get wanting to set a mood, but people won't know what's going on. Exactly. And what pissed me off about the Game of Thrones lighting decision is that you can't watch it unless like you're in a movie theater or unless you have all of the lights off in the house. And I feel like that's a terrible way, like that's a terrible way to film, because what if somebody doesn't want to watch it in the dark? Like, it's unserious. And then you look at something like the Battle of Helm's Deep, right? You look at something like the Battle of Helm's Deep with Lord of the Rings and how that also, because that's what the what the War of the Night Crown or the War against the Night King was based off of, right? But like you can actually see what the hell is going on. I realize I don't know how to draw clothes. Me and when I design clothes all the fucking time, but I keep struggling with folds. Bear with me, guys. We gonna pray. We're gonna work on the middle. This is what happens when I draw clothes, but I don't do a lot of variation with posing. You know, I probably shouldn't have erased the body lines until later. Hold on. Every time I draw something, even if it's something that's very familiar to me, even if it's something familiar to me, right? I always find myself learning something new. But I'm trying to think. What was I complaining about? But no, the cinematography is good. The makeup is awesome. I think that Lord Orlok looks fucking disgusting. I could not tell that that was Bill Skarsgård because I didn't look at the whole cast list. I'm like, that was Bill? They did a really good job with that. I think that the sound design was too good. I almost wanted to throw up sometimes because like some of the squishy noises was literally disgusting. Like I had to walk out of the theater because it was genuinely pissing me off because I'm like, this is disgusting. Stop. Like I almost shouted shut the hell up in the middle of the theater because like if like I'm an audiophile, so some stuff it has uncomfortable tingles and I'm like, no, it's time to stop. But I hated the Nosferatu movie. I hate Robert Eggers. Cause what do you mean this is supposed to be a love triangle? You fucking failed to portray any kind of romance. Like I'm gonna tell you what he said that it was supposed to be, and I'm gonna tell you my interpretation of it because I did not get that at all. So according to Robert Eggers, this is supposed to be a romance, and Lord Orlok is supposed to be a representation of suppressed female sexuality during the Victorian era, and how Ellen sacrificing herself to reunite with Orlok is her embracing her sexuality and freeing herself by giving herself into him. What I got when I watched it was a woman being pursued by a monster who was already bothering her when she was literally a kid. And when he relearns of her existence, he decides to show up and bother her again. And then he tries to coerce her into submitting to him by attacking her only support system until she eventually gives in order to save everybody. That's what I got from it. Because, like, the way. And honestly, I really. This is kind of why I don't like. I have a love hate relationship when it comes to Gothic literature and stuff because Gothic literature at its root mainly deals with trauma and stuff because a lot of it deals with like ghosts and whatnot. There's often themes of grief and but the reason why I dislike it is because I tend to hate Gothic literature fans because Gothic literature was also hella misogynistic and hella racist. And even though they talk about themes of suppression and stuff, and a lot of people like tend to call it progressive because of talking about like queer relationships and stuff, the way that queer relationships are portrayed. Like, yeah, there's queer people in it, but it's like it's usually talked about as a force of being corrupted and stuff, and that could be like, I guess, attributed to the author's shame or whatever. And I get that, but it's also like, I don't know. There's something that does not sit right with me whenever like queerness is treated. This is why I shit on Carmilla, because a lot of people dick ride Carmilla as like peak, as like the mother of lesbian vampire fiction, but it's just like Carmilla is literally introduced as a predator, guys. I feel like we need to stand up. And also, it was written by a man. It wasn't even written by a sapphic person with her own experiences and stuff. And that's something that you have to take into heavy consideration when it comes to the depiction, to me at least. And but yeah, I don't like the Nosferatu movie because the framing of what happens between Orlok and Ellen, it does not give romance to me, because like he is constantly bothering her, and there's literally scenes where she talks about like feeling this heaviness over her whenever he's there, and he's also like literally getting rid of the people that she cares about, or he's targeting the people that she cares about in order to make her submit to him. And to me, that's not, people are saying that this is like suppressed female sexuality, but it's just like suppressed female sexuality never results in like when a woman is suppressing herself, and I could be coming from a position of bias and whatnot. Usually, whenever it comes to sexual suppression, that's usually a symptom of abuse, and rarely does it harm anybody who isn't the person being abused, because like it's internalized, right? Like somebody who is pent up and afraid to express it because of like fear of being ostracized, it's not gonna result in like the literal deaths of other people, because it's usually like it's internalized, because it's convincing that person that they are wrong for letting those feelings out. Now some people may become so pent up that they end up letting it out the wrong way and hurting others, but in the context of what's going on with Ellen, that's not what's happening. He's literally attacking the other ones, like her friends and her family and stuff, in order to get her to come to him. So I don't agree. And I'm not trying to be that one person that's just like, oh, the director thinks he knows something, but I do think that he failed to portray that concept like terribly. And I really do not like the audience reception of it, like how it's praised for portraying romance in that kind of matter. Because, like, the scenes where Orlok feeds off of people is something that is very much akin to, like, violation and stuff. Because a lot of people talk about how vampirism is usually a euphemism for sex, because, you know, you're biting somebody, it is an intimate activity and stuff. But a lot of people don't like to talk about how, depending on how it's framed, that doesn't mean that the sex that's being had is exactly the good kind, guys. It's actually why I like Hellsing Ultimate, actually, because there are sometimes in both the show and in the original comic how they talk about how the way that blood is consumed, or the way that it's taken, the way that blood is consumed or taken, that determines like the power that you get from it. Like usually vampires, they just take blood and stuff, and it's just regular empowerment from it, because at the end of the day it's food and it's nourishment and stuff. But like whenever it's like blood that's given, it ends up creating a different experience, and it has a different effect on the vampire. Like it's like they get even more strength of it because they didn't have to like fight the person in order to get something to eat. Think of like ordering a meal and somebody cooking for you versus you having to get up and cook for yourself. And even though there's like a satisfaction in getting the meal for yourself, you also feel tired and you have to be the one to wash the dishes. At least that's how I feel about it. It's like somebody making food for you on their own accord versus you having to cook and then you got to wash the dishes right after. Second one is a bit more satisfying. But I cannot recreate that pattern, Dex, but I can find a way to find something close to it. But yeah, I don't like Nosferatu. I think that the relationship was portrayed very predatorily, and I don't like how, because of the sort of predatory nature of the relationship, I don't like Ellen having to give herself up in order to save everybody. Especially in a time where like we're seeing high rates of victimization of women and stuff, and giving this message that the only way to appease an abusive, the only way to get rid of a abusive figure is to appease him. I don't think that we should be sending that message out into the world. And this is the second time that I've seen Robert Eggers make a story where a woman is like being harassed by dark supernatural forces, and then eventually she gives into those forces after they've like attacked her loved ones and family, because it's just like, oh, this is a repressed Christian household and whatnot. And it's just like, yeah, fuck abusive religious households, right? But like, to me it kind of does not matter when you like submit to that dark force if they are also using abuse tactics as well. Literally the only difference between the devil and the Puritans, like in the movie The Witch, which was also made by Robert Eggers, is that is literally the aesthetic. It's literally the aesthetic. And I don't like that message, because it's just like you're just saying that you're cool with these shitty dynamics as long as it doesn't have like Jesus attached to it, and I feel like that's lame. I feel like that's a lame message to give in a film that's quote unquote supposed to be about like women's empowerment and stuff, because he's also, because like The Witch also gets praised for that, but I feel like it sucks at portraying that. Like, I don't know, we could do better. We could do better, guys. But apparently The Lighthouse is good. I wouldn't mind watching The Lighthouse. It was like what, the first movie that William Dafoe was in by Robert Eggers, because the other one that he was in was Nosferatu. He was the discount Van Helsing. I can't even remember the name of the dude. I can't remember his name. Do not ask me. But yeah, that was my long-winded rant about how much I hate Nosferatu. Um, the movie was ass. Watch Francis Coppola's Dracula. It is literally a 9 out of 10 because it got the cowboy in it. Also, let's talk about the importance of the cowboy. His name is Quincy Morris. Um, the reason why I am writing on him so hard is because he's literally the best character. So I told y'all that Dracula. Also, is anybody? Can anybody hear me? Because sometimes I feel like I'm like let me know if you want me to like change the subject or anything, because it was a little bit dark just a minute ago with how I was talking about the dynamic between like Orlok and Ellen. Because oh my god, I hate that movie. The amount of vitriol that I have for it, words cannot describe. But I'm trying to think. Um, I'm trying to think. Um, I should probably do the armhole like this to show that it's stretching a bit. What was I thinking? Also, let me change this music. I was playing like dark rave to go with the vibe of the Dracula thing, but I'll play something else as soon as I find my other playlists. Let's see. I'm trying to think. What was I gonna go again? Oh yeah, Quincy. So his name is Quincy Morris. As I said before, Dracula was a propaganda piece. My PJ shows me of a flannel. Yeah, I cry. It's okay though. Thanks, Ivia. But no, now I know. So Quincy is the most important character in the cast. He is not the most important character in the cast, but he's hella important. As I said before, Dracula was like a propaganda piece about the importance of Western countries and how they're in danger due to immigrants and da 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 da. And you have Quincy Morris, who is supposed to represent the United States because he is a cowboy, right? This is the late 1800s, so you have like Western expansion going on in the U.S., and he's like a Rough Riders type of person, even though Teddy Roosevelt did not. But like Bramster, even though Teddy Roosevelt didn't, he wasn't president during the Victorian era. Bram Stoker was writing Dracula at the time that, um, around the time that Teddy Roosevelt was like doing stuff. So like he respected him, right? And the reason why there is a cowboy as a part of the group, it's pretty much a means to acknowledge that the US is now an official superpower. Like it's officially a Western superpower. The colonies are all grown up, guys. Maybe we should give them some respect. And I feel like that's why a lot of people keep excluding Quincy from it because they don't want to acknowledge the US. It's just like, this is a British horror thing. Why is the American here? And it's just like, the American is important, dummy. Like that's the same as asking why is the German here? They're here for a reason. But I'm trying to think. This is my alter ego. This is my alter ego. My ego. I'm sorry, I'm jamming. I need to go to a ballroom. I need to witness ballroom things. I don't know if my state got, there are gay clubs in my area, but I don't know if they're that category of gay. I need to find a gay club with some black people in it. But what was I thinking? But no, the cowboy is important to pretty much commentate on the colonies growing up. You know, the U.S. is his own thing, and the reason why he's the best character is that he, like, all of them are integral to beating Dracula, but like this dude was low key carrying. Like when Dracula transforms into a bat to get away, right? Everybody's just like, "Oh no, he transformed. What are we gonna do?" Dude just shoots him. And even Dracula was confused when he got hit because he's just like, nobody shot me before. And it doesn't kill him because he's transformed and he's trying to get away, right? But he like falters a little bit, like he almost falls. He was just like, what the fuck was that? And Quincy was just like, y'all didn't think of that? Like he was genuinely confused at everybody being scared and being confused. He's just like, bro. Like dude just pulls out the mystery mouse Cthulhu on this guy. On this ancient evil. And then the other thing was, he didn't do the killing to Dracula, he did the second to last killing blow, which slowed him down enough for him to be killed. Because, like, he stabs Dracula with his Bowie knife. At first, he wasn't going to do it because, like, Van Helsing was just like, yeah, you could do that. That'll be really effective. And he's just like, I was not trying to get that close, sir. But then he ends up doing it anyways. And unfortunately, he dies. But, like, they love him so much for it that Jonathan and Mina, whenever they have kids, like, they name their first son after him because he was literally the MVP. And that is why Quincy Morris is the best character in the roster. I need to make this sleeve a little bit longer. Also, I put this in the wrong layer. That's the wrong layer, Kronk. Add the layer, Kronk. Wrong layer. Or delete the layer, Kronk. Oh, shit. But no, oh my god. I'm trying to think. That's really all I had to say about Dracula shenanigans. Oh, I was gonna say something about current events though, as in like since we're talking about like media and political commentary and stuff, it's just gonna be short. It's really bothering me seeing the amount of VTubers that are like vehemently opposed to talking about certain social issues. And I'm not saying that you have to do that on stream and stuff. Sometimes I do talk about social issues on stream, but it's usually in the context of media analysis, like what I just did with talking about like Dracula and the context of the talking about Dracula in the context that it was made in and stuff, because like for those who don't show up to my streams regularly, these are the things that I do like to talk about whenever I am drawing and I'm just rambling about stuff. Sometimes I will do sometimes when I do talk about media, I do make social commentary because media doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It always exists in the context that it was made in. And when it comes to media that's made to be social commentary, well, it's kind of hard to get away from that if you're going to talk about the piece of media because it's commentating on something, right? It has something to say. And but that doesn't mean that people's streams have to be that. But like what's bothering me is that folks are like, "Oh guys, I don't see why folks are like breaking not breaking setting why do people feel that they need to set boundaries over the type of people that are allowed to come to their streams, or why do people feel the need to talk about all of this petty BS?" And then the petty BS in particular is like literal fascism or something. And it's like I don't know who needs to hear this. If you are a VTuber, right, your branding isn't just restricted to the type of model that you have or what kind of graphics that you have. It's also about who you congregate with and who is allowed at your streams, right? Who you who you allow space for on your streams and on your socials are just as much a part of your branding as your graphics and stuff, because audience want to know what interests their performers have because they like to go to people with the same interests, and they also want to know where they're safe or where they're welcome, right? So it's not enough to say that you are a say so or a cozy streamer, because for all we know you could be cozying up with bigots. And I feel like more VTubers need to keep that in mind instead of just acting like everything's all kumbaya and whatnot because they are too afraid to have an opinion, even though they have opinions on literally anything else from the media that they like to favorite food and stuff. Like, to me, politics is no different from breathing because it's literally something that affects your day-to-day life. You don't have to talk about politics in your stream, but like making stances about who's welcome to be here or whatever, that's important. And if anybody wants to know, just read my rules, indie about. I feel like that says plenty and stuff. And also, I talk a lot of shit on social media, so y'all should already know what I like and what I hate. I can also be a bit of a broken record sometimes. So even if you don't know, you'll find out. I'm not gonna give Dex. Dex did not show his toe claws. Cruella, Cruella, David, should I scare you? No, you. Cruella, Cruella, David, should I scare you? No, you won't think. Cruella, Cruella, David, should I scare you? No evil thing will. Cruella, Cruella, David, since it's like a sudden chill. Cruella, Cruella, David, since hold on. Guess who's back in the house? He was clacking and bow. Style to feminine, styles to 11. I'm divine, so heavenly. It's that, bro, no doubt. Donnie, like, wow. Don't make sense for a bitch to be disendowed. Watch me drop, drop, drop it to the car. Add up the tens to get the score. I've been that bitch, yes, I love that drama. Minute up and coming from the Clinton studio. Promise I keep it tight. Now they call me mother. I love that drama. Up and coming from the Clinton studio. Promise I keep it tight. Now they call me mother. When I have nothing else to say, I'm just gonna sing along, guys. Na 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 na. Rap along. Giggity giggity hot. Cunny honey, a cunny honey. Come my money, come my money. Nick to the nick, a knick knack, a what with a freaking money. Click clack, ow. You know, back in my day, we had real music. Come my money, I come my money. Nick to the nick, a knick knack, and whack with a click clack, ow. Actually, I did these claws wrong. I'm that glamazon. I'm the echelon. Tron. About to be on. None of these bitches is cunty like you. You know well what to do. You know well what to do. None of these bitches is rude. When I step in, you know well what to do. Yeah, she already had hers.